Next Generation Leadership, episode 5. Bruce Wirt, Mayka Rosales Peterson, and we have just an awesome guest coming up today. Mayka, we'll talk about that in just a second. But I do want to remind everybody that we've had 4 other great episodes, and you can subscribe to this great podcast anywhere you get your favorite, anywhere you get your favorite place. I don't know what
it's okay, Bruce.
It's been a long day.
It's been a long day. Anywhere that you stream your podcast, make sure that you check us out. We'll appreciate you so much. Leave a comment, like, 5 stars, please. Nothing but 5.
Yeah, it helps when you review us on iTunes. That's the best place that you can send your review. Apple, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Play, iHeartRadio, wherever you get your podcast. You can follow me at BWirt Leadership. You can find either one of us on LinkedIn.
I will be having a Twitter this week.
You got to do it.
I am probably the only person on earth that does not have a Twitter, and that is so sad, but that will
definitely in your age group.
Probably.
Yeah.
That's so sad.
I have a Twitter. Come on. I didn't
But you're not that much older than me.
I didn't figure it out. I'm 10 years, right? I didn't figure it out until a couple years ago, but I got there. So yeah, follow us, like us, whatever, all that good stuff, and subscribe to the podcast because that's going to help us grow. The numbers are phenomenal, so thank you for all of you that are listening and putting out positive vibes on social media. We really do appreciate it. Ken Mercer, Nancy Ridge, Tina Gravel. And we started this thing last week, Mayka, where we have every other week, right, on the non-guest weeks.
Yep, we'll be talking.
Some good topical stuff.
Just catch up, we sync up, have awesome conversation about leadership or, wherever it goes. So tune into those too. It's going to be good.
Yeah, last week was trusting your gut. So make sure you go back and listen to that. We had a great conversation. What's coming up this week on Next Generation Leadership?
Yes, so we have Mr. Reginal Scales, he's an industry legend, 20 years of industry experience, and he's the current EVP and GM of Vonage. So we are excited to have him on and hear his story. Yeah,
and he was a Paetec guy. For all of you telecom people that love Paetec, that was like the brand that everybody wanted to work at back in the 90s and the early 2000s. Nice. So really cool. I'm very excited to talk about him and have him share his leadership experiences.
Yeah, I know he's going to have so much to share. He's such a veteran. Like, he has so much experience. I feel like he's done everything and everything. So it's going to be a really good show.
These shows are made possible by Telesystem, and make sure that you check out telesystem.us. That's where Mayka and I both get a paycheck from, and they sponsor this podcast exclusively so that you don't have to listen to any commercials or many commercials. But there's one commercial that you do have to listen to, and it's from Telesystem, and you got to listen to it right now. And then we'll come back with Reginal Scales on the other side of the break.
In a world where businesses are striving to adapt, connect, and evolve, we're here to bring you more. More freedom to work how and where you want while keeping employees connected, productive, and engaged. More flexibility to customize solutions to tailor a simple, more agile network. And more security for an evolving cyber landscape with around-the-clock access to hands-on technical support. It's time to explore more.
Next Generation Leadership, Bruce Wirt, Mayka Rosales Peterson, and Mayka, we got an awesome guest today.
Yes, I am so excited about this one. He is one of my favorite people ever. Reginal Scales, how are you?
Hey, Mayka. Hey, Bruce. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I'm so happy to meet you finally. I've heard so much about you. I've seen your name out there. And, we're in the same world in telecom, which is a small world. But
yes, it
very
is.
Nice to get together for the very first time.
Yes, and I'm honored to be a part of the show today. So thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you.
That's awesome. How are you? Because I know that you were having issues at home with your kitchen.
I'm doing well. So we moved into a new home a few years ago. And we had a dishwasher leak over the course of 6 months, just trickling.
Ooh.
And over time, it's one of those listen to your wife moments. My wife found it early. She was like, I think there's something wrong. There's like one of our cabinets are buckling. And I'm like, oh, it's fine. And then, 6 months later, I opened up one of the cabinets and I had a safari. It's mold everywhere.
Oh my gosh. That's
So,
making my skin crawl just thinking about it.
oh, it's terrible. Over the past, it's been now 2 weeks of eating out, and but we're getting a new kitchen.
Does insurance cover something like that, or
Bruce, interesting story. I learned a lot through this endeavor. First of all, because it wasn't a spontaneous combustion or a pipe burst or a fire, my homeowner said, no way, we're not covering it.
Oh my gosh.
So we called Whirlpool. I mean, it's a top-end kitchen aid, if you didn't know, is Whirlpool.
Sure, yeah.
But it's a high-end dishwasher. And again, a wife moment again. I was like, oh, whatever, it's our fault. I'll just write the check. And my wife's like, no. So she called KitchenAid, and they covered it 100%.
Oh, that's awesome.
We had to do a little video of what was happening and how it affected us. And lo and behold, we're all set. Now, I'll give you a warning. You may hear a drill or a hammer. Literally, there's contractors in here, so we may have to edit some of that out.
No, it's okay. It's life.
Yes.
Those are the best shows.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, people heard my kid screaming. They've heard my dog bark. So it's life. It's COVID life. So it's perfectly normal.
It's the new normal.
Yeah.
I don't have an office to go to avoid my mold repair.
So, it's been, I appreciate you so much because you're one of those voices that we need so much in this space. And you've had such an impressive career, like amazing. Can you walk us through it? I just want to know, how did you get to where you are, EVP and GM of Vonage? How did you get there?
Oh man, I tell you.
411.
Yeah, I'm very blessed first and foremost. I always knew, Mayka, that I wanted to be in sales. My parents got a divorce at an early age, but my mom was a salesperson. She had her own business, and I would help her from time to time. Throughout high school, I was selling encyclopedias and just various little endeavors. I was a telemarketer very early in the day for my mom's business. She was actually selling software, believe it or not, to churches for memberships way back in the day.
Wow.
So,
I didn't even know they did that.
Listen, we were on the pioneering front, I tell you. But when I went to college, I played lacrosse, and I was in certain circles there. So I grew up a Maryland boy, and I played, lacrosse, went to Salisbury. We were national championships 9 out of the last 15 years. So just thought I'd throw a plug into the Seagull Nation. But, while being there, I knew I always wanted to be in sales. I didn't necessarily have my heart set on what my mom was doing. And by chance, I stumbled into the quote unquote telecom industry, as it was called at that time. I had one of my roommates graduate a year before me and went to be a telemarketer for MCI. And this was a guy who was more of an introvert. He was somebody who, would be at the party, maybe sitting in the back of the corner with a beer while I'm out there, life of the party, conversating. But long story short, came back from homecoming. Don't want to sound materialistic, but the guy had a 3 Series BMW, living in Washington, D.C. in his own apartment. And I'm like, huh?
Yeah, hey, what are you doing, dude?
Seriously.
I want to get into that.
And he was a telemarketer at MCI. He was literally on the phone, calling, taking people off of AT&T. Was right after the divestiture. I won't age myself. This was the late 80s and early 90s. And I said, hey, I got to do it. Put me in. So I graduated, and I was a telemarketer at MCI. And this is how this all began. I was literally, hi, this is Reginal Scales. I see that you're with AT&T. You're spending 35 cents a minute for your phone calls for long distance. With MCI, we can get you down to 25 cents a minute. I see you're dialing the UK, and we're going to get you on an international plan. Thanks for joining MCI. There's no objections. This is all for you. And great. Ring the bell.
Doesn't sound fun at all.
Yeah, that was, so I did that for a few years, and I became a supervisor. Then I became a director. Then I became a VP. And during that transition over the years, the local divestiture had happened. If you guys remember in 96, when we started selling local phone service.
I remember. I think Mayka might have been.
Yeah.
What
Like
grade
5
were
years
you in?
old.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't going to say Michael was just born then, but you know,
I
don't
was
worry.
barely
Mike.
crawling.
Yeah, don't worry. I was born in '99. I tell that all the time. You know, I just shave a little bit and get some dye out. No, I'm joking there. But you know, long story short, I had an opportunity to join a company called Paetec
Yeah.
as a VP GM for the Eastern region. I was employee number 81. And you know, Paetec grew from ground zero to being $3 billion in revenue before being bought by Windstream. And again, by chance, I was somebody who was instrumental in help growing that business. And Paetec became Wilcon, where I sold dark fiber in LA. And I was an SVP for both of those companies, and I just never really looked back. And now here I am at Vonage. I have I oversee the applications group for Americas and Asia Pac. Have about 250 employees. You know, pretty big P&L. You know, all things sales, all things customer experience, and again, very fortunate. I may articulate a very easy story, but it was a lot of hard work and a lot of challenges along the way to get to where I am, and I'm very blessed to be here.
Early
Really
Paetec, Brad Bono and Arunas Chisonis, right?
Wow, Brad Bono hired me.
Yeah. Oh, wow. That's interesting.
Brad Bono was my boss. Brad Bono hired me in a hotel in Delaware. Like literally, I drove up from Baltimore. I met with Brad. We fell in love with each other. He gave me an offer on the spot. I met with Arunas. Mario DiRigi is a dear friend of mine.
Yeah.
I was employee number 81. He was employee number 80. We started the same day, and he and I personally built that company.
So who are these people? We can.
So,
Arunas Chisonis, Bruce, I'll let you talk, man. I'm running my mouth too
no,
much.
no.
You're
My
good.
show. Is this my show?
This is your show. It's all about you right
No,
now.
Paetec was, Paetec was a very respected brand, and there was all these CLECs were popping up all over the place, and Paetec was really one of the first national CLECs. They had, by acquisition, they were acquiring different companies in different markets, putting them together, and just one of those brands where when we're building Telesystem, right? We aspire to have cultures like that where people just wanted to work there. And at Paetec, it wasn't about having the lowest price. There's a lot of CLECs that drove business that way. Paetec was, you're going to pay a premium, but you're going to get good service. You're going to get people that care and the experience. So I think that there's a lot of companies that patterned success after that Paetec model. So yeah, I heard that name, and of course, Brad Bono, he's a friend, and he's been around. He's done a couple things since then. Most of Princeton.
And I see you're a Philly guy, and Brad's a legend. He's a legend.
Yeah.
In that Delaware Philly corridor. Yeah, he's one of my mentors, to be honest.
Yeah.
And you said something that's very powerful. The foundation of my leadership, the foundation of what I believe in with solution selling and having value and not selling on price, and and even in the channel not having the greatest spiff. We want to make sure we're adding value and disrupting the conversation and changing the narrative where it's more about the customer journey and how we're helping them evolve. And that's what I learned early on at Paetec. And Arunas and Brad and Mario and I, we were all, pioneers of that go-to-market approach, which is now more relevant today.
Sure. Mayka, I know you have a whole list.
No, go ahead.
While we're on it,
let's flow it.
Reggie, the industry in telecom, and we try very hard to keep this podcast from being a telecom centric podcast. But since you're in telecom and so are we, I think it's important to ask. In the early days of telecom, it was all about spreadsheet selling. Here's what you have today, and I'm essentially going to replicate that into these same products for a 10% or a 20% discount. And people did that a lot of times over again until we raced all the way to the bottom, and then the industry had to reinvent itself. And here we are today, where a lot of service providers that kind of grew out of that Telecom Act of '96. It's completely different industry than it was when it first started. It's no longer about saving you money on exactly the things that you had today. It's about looking at your business and fitting together multiple products that actually drive your business forward. So talk about what you've seen there and how this industry has evolved. And what I most want to talk about is the people challenge, because I see people over and over again who were very successful in those early days of spreadsheet selling that can't latch on and replicate success because they're not evolving the way that they do things.
Bruce, you said it all. I mean, listen, I will agree with you. The term digital transformation gets thrown around very loosely. And truly what you just explained is that I too was a part of walking into an office and grabbing the Bell Atlantic telephone bill back in the day, right? And saying, here's your metered versus measured. And, you know, I can save you money if you just do this. It was more about, what are you doing now? Let me help you do it at a better cost.
Right.
Now it's evolved to, let me help you rethink your entire strategy. You know, what is the end game? Are you trying to better communicate with your customers through having, you know, maybe giving them more options to communicate with you through Omni? Like, can you chat to your customers or SMS? Do you have bots? Do you have the ability to, you know, take advantage of communicating with all channels? And then also with your employees, do you have collaboration tools that where they can work anywhere at any time and have access to data? You know, and that's really what we're doing now. And what I've seen, Bruce, is that people who can't go along that journey no longer add value to the ecosystem that we attack. The addressable market is massive. And those that have invested in themselves and evolved and changed the narrative, they can catch up to where we are today. So I think you've did a very good summation of what's transpired and where we're headed. And that's going to continue to evolve. And that's why I'm so excited about the journey that's ahead of us. This is a gold mine.
Oh, yeah.
This is a gold mine.
And that's a lesson for all of you salespeople out there. Some of you have been struggling. There's light at the end of that tunnel. You just have to do the work, educate yourself, and reinvent yourself, because the spreadsheet sale is dead. You have to know how to sell applications. You have to know how to ask questions, and you have to know how to win over the customer and make them trust you. So
take them on a journey.
Do you guys, staying on this topic a little bit, do you guys think that is a generational thing? Because the future is all, you know, I guess my son, right? My 2-year-old, he gets on a tablet and he knows how to use it, right? So it's so amazing. He's 2. So I feel like if you don't catch up, you're left behind. So do you think it's a generational thing, or is it more so they just don't want to catch up? They're stuck in their ways.
Bruce, I think it's generational. I really do. But the legacy people like Bruce and I have had to evolve and
Bruce
catch up.
is not that old.
Well, he knows Brad Bono, so
yeah,
you know, I had to throw that in there. No, I think it's a combination of generational, simply because communications has evolved. People are no longer looking for an 800 number to call and get a warm body. I mean, you're literally trying to, you know, have a web chat, or, you know, you're literally going to do it through social channels, whatever it may be. You know, there's the need for video. There's the need for AI. You know, something that we differentiate here at Vonage with quite often is the ability to do digital first platforms through APIs, which gives you an opportunity to have more intelligent conversations and more intelligent protocols within your business. So from my perspective, it's the game has changed, and those who haven't realized it and can articulate how the game has changed, you're going to get left behind, because everybody can give you a $5 seat. But really, if you're not changing the business, what is a $5 seat going to do for you?
I think there's salespeople of all ages that do get it and do succeed. And so I'm not so sure it's in terms of being successful. Generational has something to do with it, because if you spent the core of your career in an environment where you did things a certain way and you were very successful, it is harder to change and it's harder to adopt new habits. But I have seen people that are more open to changing. People that are older are more open sometimes to changing the way they do things than the youngest people in our workforce. And I think that's the secret. One of the secrets to success is pliability, going in and, Reggie, somebody coming in and working for your organization, they might have had great success at Nextivo or 8x8. And there was a very specific way of doing things and selling. But when they go to Vonage, you have a different way to do things. And if that person's not pliable, they're probably not going to last. So pliability is important.
I agree. Absolutely.
Probably my 5th P: perseverance, passion, positivity.
Oh, I have 5 Ps as well.
Oh, well, do tell.
Yeah, we want to hear that.
Yeah, we got to go. Wow, I can't believe you went there. Listen, for me, leadership and anything we do is about a foundation. One thing that I have always tried to avoid in my leadership style, and even those leaders that are with me today, is those that lead by way of just freestyle, those that just lead by the moment, those that just, are, this is where we're going today. For me, it's about the 5 Ps. I think the greatest asset in any company is the people, first and foremost. And like you just said, Bruce, those that are able to have disruptive conversations, those that have evolved along as the way technology has evolved. You got to have people that can embrace that and add value for themselves, for the company, and for the customer. And then I also believe in that second P is putting processes together. As a leader, you got to have process that's consistently evolving your people. Taking them to the next level through data, through trends in the industry, through training, through coaching, through evolution. And then, when you put that process in place, your people are going to evolve. And then it comes down to product. Like understanding today, it's not about products. It's no longer that, cookie cutter, here's the 5 offers we have at Vonage and, choose package A through D. Right. That's no longer what we're doing. You got to have product that's evolving, that's solutions oriented, that's disruptive, and you have to be innovating.
Sure.
So that's the 3rd P. And then the 4th P for me is how do you build pipeline at a disproportionate advantage where your sweet spots are based upon that product evolution and innovation. And then the final P is performance. How do you perform and outgrow the business day over day, week over week, month over month, year over year? And as a leader, you got to put data points in place for people to see that. Tools like Salesforce are, very much apparent or relevant, but there's even next level tools. We have a partnership with a company called Protoscore. And Protoscore, who, if you haven't heard of Protoscore, you should get them on the show. But they provide tools that show, behaviors, analytics.
Rating the conversation, right?
Excuse me?
They rate the conversation, right?
Yes, they rate the conversation. They rate
that's super
touches.
cool.
Yeah.
I'm able to go in and see things that show how many touches people are making, how many emails, how many chats, how many how deals are converting through the pipeline. And I can score those behaviors. So one of the things that we had happen when we had the pandemic and we went from brick and mortar offices to more virtual, how do I run a virtual sales force? I had to have tools. And those are the same tools I'm offering today to my customers, not only through Vonage, but through integrations with people like Protoscore that gives you a scoring tool to see work efficiency. building APIs and so have you. So that's my 5 Ps. You live by it. You put data in place. You make sure that everybody understands what we're looking at. You be consistent. You hold people accountable to high levels of execution, and then you win at a higher rate.
I love it. I think our P's actually fit together. We don't have to battle with our P's because mine are all like fundamental career things: purpose, passion, perseverance, positivity, and now pliability. And I think we put it together, and that's a great recipe for success.
Awesome.
That is an amazing
Write that
recipe.
down, Mayka. I think we.
I know. I have to just put that down here and use it.
You got it.
So I'm gonna switch gears a little bit. So I know that you've had an extensive career from what we've heard. And, talking to you a little bit, you said that the foundations of where you started builds you through the difficult times. Can you talk about what those foundations are and how it's helped you and shaped you into the leader that you are today?
Yes, absolutely. Foundation is important, and people pull from, various various sources to create who they are and who they become, whether it be family, whether it be mentors, whether it be, certain books, if you will. I grew up in a very faith-based household. Early on, I gravitated to the book of Proverbs, which is written by King Solomon. Yeah. And you'll know King Solomon was one of the wisest kings, the wisest kings in all of the Bible. And there's various principles, about staying humble or listening before you speak, or how to judge a situation and how to make sure you're being consistent and things of that nature. So that's really built the foundation for who I am as a man, as a family, as a father, as a coach, as a person. You can always trust and believe that I'm going to do what I say I'm going to do. I'm never going to be above the front lines. I'm always going to understand, how we win, why we win, and how I can add value. So that's just been the foundation for me over my career. And again, the 5 Ps as well. And that's something that keeps me grounded. So it's helped me through difficult times. There have been times in my career where I have been overlooked for various reasons. I'm not going to ever be a victim. I'm always going to look at times where I'm overlooked to say, what could I have done better? How could I have made it where it's a no-brainer for me not to be overlooked no matter what the situation is? Yeah. And that's what I instill in my kids, the people I mentor, the teams that I lead here at Vonage. I always say, let's be a part of the solution. And with every loss, there is a win. And that's really stems from my foundation of the word, as well as the mentors that have been around me.
Awesome.
That's awesome. That's so deep. I just want to grab that and absorb that. That was so good.
I was thinking about this the other day, and I put it on LinkedIn. You can trip and fall and then get up and blame the ground or blame the crack in the ground or the pavement not being right, and that's the reason that you fell. Or you can understand, what were you doing, not paying attention? Were you looking at your phone, and not make that same mistake again and fall in the same spot? And I think sometimes people make mistakes and they fall down, or they don't get where they want to go, and they're not looking inward to see what they can change. And I think people just need to understand that growing is all about looking and learning. And I love John Maxwell, who's also very spiritual in his approach, failing forward.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think he's brilliant. Absolutely.
Sorry,
I mean, that was an awkward pause. You always talk about the awkward pauses, Bruce, and then you just left me on a cliffhanger there.
I'm glad there's technology to edit, right?
Yeah.
Yes. So just speaking of the obstacle, right, and just having that grounded mentality, what obstacles have you faced? Have you faced many as a leader?
Yeah, listen, I think, early on, even at MCI, I did a very good job of always being on the leaderboard. When I became an individual, left from being an individual contributor to a frontline manager, I was overlooked because I didn't do a good job of articulating my passion and how it is I win and why it is I win, articulating that to how that's going to make me a leader and inspire others. And I was overlooked because I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready. People could say, "Oh, well, Reggie, you were number one. I can't believe they overlooked you." And I could have very easily been a victim and say, "Yeah, that's crap. I'm going to go to AT&T now." What I did is I looked internally and said, "Hey, I need to better position myself to bottle up the passion with a plan and a process."
Yeah.
And that got me ready for the next time. And when I became that frontline manager, I then became a director level faster than anybody in my peer group at MCI over the time. So that's 25 years ago. I've also had obstacles, in regards to being in situations with companies that have been challenged in various ways, and having to really reset the strategy and make sure that I hold on to the foundation that I believed in. If I didn't have that, I would not have had something to grasp for. Because at times, I want to say this to anybody out there, sometimes it has to get worse before it gets better. Like if you are a cancer patient, going through chemo is you're going rock bottom. You're literally dying to live again. And you have to understand that sometimes when you face obstacles, it's never over. If I was a quitter or if I was someone who was going to be a victim during those times of being overlooked or having challenges, if I didn't have something to pull upon, I wouldn't be who I am today. Now, you got to also understand too, at times being a person of color, you may have to also be ready to position yourself to be at the next level against, if you're apples to apples against someone, how do I be excellent and go to the next level? I'll tell you this, one obstacle I had in sports, being a person of color playing lacrosse, there wasn't many of us out there. And oftentimes we were always put into a defensive position, okay, he's fast, he's athletic, he's going to play D midi. And I didn't want that. I wanted to score goals because I knew that, give me the ball, coach.
Like, stop making the decision for me.
Yeah. So, I was in my dorm room, literally, Bruce, lacrosse, you're a Philly boy. I was literally in my dorm room with a left hand, working on my left hand every day. And when, my freshman year was over, my sophomore year, I became, an offensive midi. And, and our team was very good over those years, and that continued to evolve. So I gave you a few situations to pull from, but, the key is obstacles are only opportunities.
Ooh, I love that. Obstacles are always opportunities. And I think in the obstacles, they can show you who you really are. It can grow you and it can show you who you really are. I know for 2020, that was my year of awakening. And people always say, "Oh my God, you had such an amazing 2020." And I think it's leaning into those foundations, like what you were saying, right? And knowing that, the value add that you can add and growing from that. So
yes,
that's awesome. Thank you for saying that.
Thank you for allowing me to share. I'm very passionate about that. I have young kids, that are going through college and going through life. And, I'm just very fortunate to be able to, speak to them and give them those examples. And that's why I believe so much in mentorship.
Yeah. What can you tell the next generation? Somebody who wants to be like you, what do you tell them?
Listen, take advantage of the tools that are available to you today. I often say to my kids, there's no reason to be ignorant of anything today. With the power of things like Google, with the power of technology, with the influences that are around you, all the examples we have of people doing great things. Our next billionaires, our next leaders are the people that are the millennials that we're talking to right now. Sky's the limit. I often also share technology is just something that's, we're so blessed to be a part of it. Who would have thought through what we saw in 84 and then 96 and then now digital first and now, people going from legacy telco systems to now the cloud. there's so much opportunity. So I would say sky's the limit. And I don't want to be cliche, but take advantage of your surroundings, take advantage of what's available to you, always invest in yourself. If you see someone that's doing something great, never be afraid to ask a question, never be afraid to, you know, to ask for mentorship, or to, you know, just really just go to the next level. I can't say enough about it. So hopefully I answered your question there.
No, it's instrumental. I know mentors are the ones that help me get to where I'm at. Bruce is one of my mentors, you know, and he's helped me shape here, but I have various others like Nancy Ridge, who I respect and love so much.
Nancy's brilliant.
She is brilliant, and I don't know what I would do without her.
Yeah.
She's amazing.
I think the great point there is not to be afraid to, I mean, that's the power of networking, right? Is when you have a mentor, don't be afraid to ask that mentor to introduce you to other people who can also be mentors, because there's nobody that is, you know, great at everything. And there's different perspectives, and there's perspectives that Nancy can give that I can't give because I haven't walked in Nancy's shoes. And the same thing with Reggie. And I think that with all of these different perspectives, we can, all mentors can really help people that are trying to grow and trying to learn, because that's when you're growing in business, it's very important to understand perspectives from all over the place.
Yes.
And you know, I say this about front office and building teams. Our customers look come in every shape and size and every variation of type of person. So that's who we want our employees to be. And I think the same goes to mentors. You should have mentors that you go across the board.
Yeah,
and
look, sound, everything different.
Angles.
And you know what?
I couldn't figure out how to say that. I was trying to piece the words together. Hopefully it came out.
And Bruce,
it came out good.
You said something that's very powerful, you know, about networking and putting yourself in a position to take advantage of your network. I can honestly say in my career, I've never had to really interview for a job. It's always been an introduction, or somebody heard about me through something that I may have done. For example, you mentioned Nancy Ridge. You know, Nancy Ridge, there's powerful people in the industry. And when someone's looking for a leader or an opportunity, they're going to go to their LinkedIn or their ecosystem and say, hey, I'm looking for someone to do X. And if your name comes up, it really becomes a natural conversation and not an interview. My first interview with Brad Bono, someone recommended me to Brad. I didn't have to reach out to Brad. I got a phone call from MCI saying Brad Bono is looking for a VP to do X, Y, and Z. You should meet him. I drove up, and it was like I met with an old friend. My interview with Alan Mazurek, the former CEO here at Vonage, was like an instant relationship. You know, we saw eye to eye. We connected on where the industry's going. My new CEO, Rory Reed here, same thing. Just like minds and great people coming together to do great things. That's the beauty of networking and the beauty of mentorship and the beauty of being ready for the opportunity. When you ask me what advice will I give, be ready for the opportunity, because greatness comes from you taking advantage of the opportunity that comes your way.
Amen.
Grab that, someone. Grab it. So Reggie, what can people expect from you? What's next? I mean, I feel like you've done everything. Your career is solid. So what do you, I mean?
You know, I'm here to help. I'm here to give back. You know, I'm here to give back. I think, you know, I'm coming to the tail end of my career. You know, I see myself working for another 10 years by choice, because I love what I do. I love what I do. But, you know, I just want to give back. I want to make sure that I'm adding impact to those around me, but I also want to give back to the total addressable market. I want to be the evangelist for the customers. I want to make sure that I'm creating change and value for that decision maker, that CEI in a Fortune 100 customer CEI, excuse me, CIO, that's my age, at a Fortune 100 company versus, you know, a mom and pop shop. It's the same journey, you know,
Yeah.
and I want to let them know that, you know, we're inspiring change. I love seeing the eyes light up when I say, have you ever thought about an API to develop what it is you're trying to do for your business? Have you ever thought of, instead of, you know, having, you know, 3-4 disparate systems that are on-prem going to the cloud, and then you creating that within your own ecosystem by developer first platforms through my ecosystem, and then bringing great people together, and then connecting with the Nancy Ridges of the world, and then giving Nancy a chance to help evolve that customer's ecosystem. That's the beauty of what we do. That's what's next for me. I get up out of bed every day, ready to do it. Also, the job that I have, you know, being on the board of Exposure, you know, we have great people came together under the badge of Exposure to give back to the channel, to give back to the technology, to give back to the industry, to give back to the millennials, you know, and that's what's makes me so passionate about what it is we do.
I am so excited about what's going to happen with Exposure. It's just going to.
So am I. Yeah, so am I.
It's a good.
There's so many good initiatives that are helping people overcome obstacles, and I think that's the wonderful thing. And really, the pandemic, as much as people, and I've talked about this a lot, the pandemic, it's bad in a lot of ways, but the good thing is that because we're all virtual and we're all talking via video so much more often than we have ever done before, we're face to face and we're solving more problems. And I think that is a blessing that's come out of this curse. And again, that's the positivity in me. You always have to look, you can sit there and feel bad for yourself, or you can look at the positives that come out of every situation. Reggie, I don't want to let this go too far. You mentioned working for 10 more years because you want to. I just felt like I have to say it. I'm in my 40s with 2 kids under 2, so I'll be working until I'm 80 because I have to.
Yes. Hey, listen, and let me tell you, my youngest is 10. So, you know, I wanna work and to see him grow up, obviously, but I can't sit home. You know, I can't sit home. I love what we do, and this is only the beginning. You know, I mentioned my 10-year-old because I'm inspiring him to be a little me, and I want to show him how to do it. That's what I'm saying. I want to be very specific. My next 10-year journey is with him and my other kids to show them how we evolve and how I do. I mean, they love the fact that I can take the chance to do. I had little things like be on CNBC one time. You know, he loved that, or interview Magic Johnson. You know, he loved that. So I just want to be able to, you know, continue doing what I do because I love it. I love inspiring others, and I want to be the example not only for my family, but for the circle of people around me.
Awesome. Well, this was just a great chat, and you're such an awesome person, very positive, and I think
passionate.
And you, I think you're an inspiration for people that, you know, are facing obstacles and they're looking to grow, or they hit a wall in their career, and the things that you said can really help just people understand how to plow through things that are in their way. And I really appreciate you taking the time to talk with us.
Thank you so much, Reggie.
And I hope to say if these things help just one person, then we've really made a difference.
Hey, listen, Bruce, thank you for the platform. You know, this is something that's very important for what it is we do. We need more of these. So you're pioneering something great here too. So I wanted to thank you for having me so I can spread my message through your platform. And Mayka, you as well. I just greatly appreciate it. If you guys ever need anything from me, please let me know. I'm not shy on words.
Same here. Reggie, thank you so much. How do people contact you? Are you on you're on LinkedIn, I know. How about Twitter or anything else? How do people get a hold of you?
I'm you know, Reggie Scales. Google me, I'm on LinkedIn. I'm Reggie.scales@vonage.com. Instagram, I'm Scales IG. I work hard, but I play hard. I don't know if you see behind me. I am a big motocross guy, motorcycle guy. I have
Nice.
my son and I, we ride Ducatis on the Ortega Freeway here safely every week. And,
Nice.
but you can find me.
Awesome. Well, we're going to
Thank
take a
you,
quick
Reggie.
break and we'll come back and wrap it up. Next Generation Leadership, Mayka Rosales Peterson, Bruce Wirt, and a very big thank you to Reggie Scales.
Thank you, Reggie.
Thank you.
In a world where businesses are striving to adapt, connect, and evolve, we're here to bring you more. More freedom to work how and where you want while keeping employees connected, productive, and engaged. More flexibility to customize solutions to tailor a simple, more agile network. And more security for an evolving cyber landscape with around-the-clock access to hands-on technical support. It's time to explore more.
All right, welcome back to Next Generation Leadership. Bruce Wirt, Mayka Rosales Peterson. Mayka, you got such a long name. I mean, two very long last names. There's a lot of letters there, and yeah, it's just a lot.
Well, my maiden last name is Rosales, and then my husband is Peterson. So I just, girl power, I had my name hyphenated.
My wife did is Amanda. She put her maiden name as her middle name, so she changed her middle name to her maiden name. So it's the same thing. She just doesn't hyphenate it. But
wait, so is her middle name gone?
Her middle name is gone. Yeah,
you could do
vanished. You can go out. I mean, there's there's a wrestler called the Ultimate Warrior who he didn't want Vince McMahon to own the trademark to that name, which he used in his career. So he changed his name legally to Warrior. So you can change your name to whatever you want.
That is insane. And that's a fun fact about your wife. Wow. That's interesting.
Follow her too. Find her on social media. She's an Audible narrator. So if you have a book and you want to get it read by the best, check that out. She's going to kill me, but I was going to give the name of the book that she did recently, and I can't think of it. Maybe by the end of the time we record, I'll find it. But while I'm looking for that, Mayka, tell us who we have on tap here on Next Generation Leadership.
It's okay, Bruce. So our next guest that we have Janet Shines, who's the president of JS Group. And we have Mike Farrell, who's the VP of marketing at Capitol Records. Now,
that's going to be fun.
That's going to be so fun. Like Katy Perry is there, Jennifer Lopez, Snoop Dogg, and so many other amazing artists. I can't wait to just see behind the curtain of the music industry.
Yeah, for
a
sure.
little bit.
That's awesome. And that takes us out of telecom, because I think we've, that's our comfort zone. We know a lot of people in telecom, but we've always said that we want this podcast to be about leadership and business in general. So,
we're going to go through all industries. Our baby is telecom, but it will grow.
And you got to, are we able to give our Hollywood A-lister that you got confirmed, or do we want to wait on that?
Let's wait. Let's confirm it, and then we'll give the tea.
If you wanted to hear a sampling of my wife's Audible work, look for Supergal versus God. Supergal, not girls. Supergal versus God, and that's available on Amazon and Audible, wherever you get your books.
A nice plug for Amanda.
There we go. All right, great conversation with Reggie Scales. Listen, I think anybody who listens to this show should just take a couple of notes, and there's probably one or two things from our guests on each episode that you can probably take and use to grow your career. And Reggie gave quite a few things that can help people out if they really listen. And the headline for me, and this is it's deep in my soul, having really come up in the beginning of this industry and lived through all of the transformations, spreadsheet selling is dead. And I wrote an article that's up on LinkedIn. I wrote it for Channel Vision a couple years ago, but the spreadsheet sale is dead, and you have to transform yourself. So if you're a telecom salesperson, especially, and you haven't had the success that you've wanted in the last few years, and you're still asking for bills and apples to apples comparisons, don't do that anymore.
Right.
You know,
I mean, look
give
at
them
the
a
consumers.
comparison, but show them and transform their business, because there's a
Right.
lot of stuff out there that can really help transform businesses, and it's not just saving a couple bucks on a spreadsheet. So
That's good.
good job, Reggie. All right, Mayka,
Yes.
that's it for this week.
That is
So
it for
fast.
this week. We will see you guys next week.
Yeah, Next Generation Leadership for Mayka Rosales Peterson, Mayka T. Rosales Peterson.
My
name is-
whole government out there. Okay.
Well, it's on the thing. Anybody watching on YouTube can see the Chiron. Come on now.
I know. That's
All
such
right.
a long name.
I'm Bruce Wirt, and we'll talk to you next time right here on Next Generation Leadership. We drop on Fridays, so look out for us.
See ya.